Salvete discipuli. Today we are going to be talking about our first person pronouns, but before we do, I thought you guys might like a quick view of Mr. Bartok here. So he might not leave me alone now, but he's hanging out next to me while we record this. So we'll see if he relaxes or if I have to pause this and go put him away. But all right, first person pronouns, all about me and us, because first person is I or we. So first off, let's just review in English the different pronouns for each case. Nominative is your subject, so we're going to be using I or we. Genitive is possessive, so either my, mine, or our, ours. English likes to use different forms depending on the context. That is my book or that book is mine. Latin always just says one way. Okay, dative, to or for me or to or for us. Accusative, just me or us. And ablative, by, with, from me or by, with, from us. This should be pretty familiar for you guys by now. All right, so here's a look at our full chart, and then we're going to break it down. So first person pronouns, please repeat after me. We have ego, mei, mihi, me, me. Repeat that first column again, singular. Ego, I, mei, my or mine, mihi, to or for me, me, accusative, me, and me, by, with, from me. Yes, me and me, accusative and ablative forms are both the same. That happens sometimes. You'll be able to easily tell based on the context of the surrounding sentences which one is intended. All right, and then our plural side, we have, repetite, nos, noster, nostri, nobis, nos, nobis. All right, so we've got a couple different duplicates here. We've got the nominative and the accusative are both nos and nos. But then we also have the dative and ablative are both nobis. Again, context is going to help you out on those. Just means less things memorized. Now, the one weird thing is the genitive, noster and nostri. Those are two equally valid options for the genitive form. It's just over the years, they kind of developed side by side together and they both stuck around. So authors would just choose whichever one they liked the sound of best. Sometimes it might depend on just which way you grew up. It's kind of like some people say soda, some people say pop, some people say soda pop, and some people say Coke for everything. So noster and nostri mean exactly the same thing. It's just going to depend on whatever a particular author chose to use. All right, let's get into this in more detail. So we're going to focus first on the nominative case. Nominative case is for the subject. I, as the subject, is ego. So an example of that would be, I am a hobbit. Ego sum hobitus. Now, lots of times we wouldn't see ego, we would just say sum hobitus, because the subject is also just in the verb itself, I am, sum. But in our Familia Mala book, we've been seeing I, ego, a lot. And you will see it on occasion, but usually just for emphasis. We is nos. So, for example, we are hobbits. Nos sumus hobiti. Again, you would generally just see sumus hobiti, but you might see nos show up, and in our Familia Mala book, nos shows up a lot more. Okay, so let's do a little bit of practice replacing the pronoun. So here we're going to see a more complicated sentence, but all we have to do is replace the single word that's underlined. So I am from the Shire. What Latin word means I? Ego. We are from the Shire. What Latin word means we? Nos. Simple as that. Let's move into the genitive case. Genitive is used for possessive. So mine or my, but mine is mei, So that is actually two different vowels, me, and they just kind of, if you say it fast, it sounds a little bit weird. Me, mei, but it's not may. Mei. So example, the ring is mine. Anulus est mei. Ours can either be noster or nostri. I apologize for nostril on the screen there. Autocorrect is annoying. Should be nostri, no L there. The ring is ours, precious. Anulus est nostri, carus. So nostri is the one I chose to use there. Or I could have said anulus est noster, carus. Either one. Okay, so let's try replacing the pronoun with some genitive forms. Middle Earth will be ours. How do we say ours in Latin? Noster or nostri. The throne of Gondor is mine. Mei. On to the dative, indirect object. So we translate dative as to or for. To or for me is mihi. We have seen this show up in a phrase in our book, mihi placet, which is a way of saying I like, but really it's pleasing to me is the literal translation, or it is pleasing to me. So mihi, to or for me. Example sentence would be, he is a good friend to me. Est bonus amicus mihi. To or for us is nobis. Give us peace. This is a very famous saying, dona nobis pacem. If you are involved in choral music at any point, there's a very famous song, Dona Nobis, and then because of sung Latin using ecclesiastical pronunciation, they actually say pacem if you sing it, Dona Nobis pacem. But if we're sticking with our classical pronunciation, it is pacem. Dona Nobis pacem, give us peace, give to us, the to is implied, but it's definitely functioning as the indirect object. So let's replace some dative pronouns. The Shire is saved, but not for me. Mihi. Give it to us. Nobis. Accusative case is used for the direct object. The singular is super easy. In English, it's me. In Latin, it's me. So the difference is pronunciation and the macron over the vowel E, that long line. But otherwise, it's exactly the same. So me goes to me. Don't you leave me, Mr. Frodo. Would be nole me abire Dominus Frodo. Okay, so there's the me. Us is nos. Master betrayed us. Sorry, I've been watching a lot of Lord of the Rings recently. I apologize, sort of. Dominus nos prodidit. So nos, us. Notice that Latin word order is going to mix things up a little bit, but you can just learn that nos means us. Now, remember, nos also meant what? We. So nos could be your subject or your direct object. In normal Latin sentences, it's pretty much going to always be your direct object because usually the subject is just part of your verb. So, let's replace some accusative pronouns. All shall love me and despair. So me is your direct object. Super easy in this one. What's me in Latin? Me. Should be a long macron over that E, but we don't really worry about those. It isn't fair to ask us what it's got in its pockets. Again, Lord of the Rings quote. I promise that pockets is on purpose. Okay, so us is your direct object. What is us in Latin? Nos, which is the same as the subject form. Final case, ablative, object of the preposition. We can most commonly translate ablative as by, with, or from. So by, with, from me is also me. We just saw that in the accusative, but it's the same in the ablative. My path is hidden from me. Via mea celator me. Buy with from us is nobis. We saw that earlier with the dative case. Fight with us, pugnate nobiscum. So here nobis is actually got a suffix cum, which means with. So it's kind of double duty. It's a weird thing in Latin, but nobis is there, it means with us. All right, so let's replace some ablative pronouns. I am glad that you are here with me. Me. Now you might see that as me cum with a cum underneath it or after it tacked on, but me is still there in the ablative case. They stole it from us. Nobis is our ablative form there. And that is the end of our lesson today. Walete.